Okay, Tim, hey, here we are, setup day at the Nektar booth. Last time I saw you, you came in studio and you showed us Aruba.
Yes.
What are we focusing on today?
So, well, we were there in the part one of the demo. We touched upon the live integration. We'll look at it in all its glory now, looking at just how deep it goes for Ableton Live. The integration uses Max for Live, so you need to load the Max devices. As you see here, I've got two for our LX Mini controller and Aruba running side by side. They're just dropped into the master track. You can see there's 5 settings here. I've set up a template basically with these two loaded, and the rest of it's empty, so I'm not going to be cheating in any way on this demo. You're going to want to enable all 5 of these because this really enhances the beat making experience of Aruba with Live. In particular, clip record mode, which sets the transport controls to be focused on session view, and auto trim recorded clips, which is really handy. It allows you to start recording when you feel like it because it trims off all the empty space at the start of a clip.
Right.
And if you press the stop or record a little bit too late, then it trims off that empty bar at the end as well. Anyway, let's have a look at the integration. So this is the top page of the DAW integration. You can control the Aruba loops, the arranger loops, and within the session view, you've got track selection. I'm just going to go over and track select 1 here. You've got scene selection, all things you'd expect as fundamental to any live controller, really. I'm also going to set the tempo. Let's just crank it up a little bit to 5. Internal foot switch mode, but I can set the foot switch to be all of these useful features for foot control. Let's go to clip record. I trigger clip record, and you can see that it's recording in live. I'm going to trigger it again and stop that. Along the top are the clips for the selected tracks. You can see here is our recorded clip. I'm just going to hold shift, press it twice, and that will remove that clip because it was empty and just a demo. And then of course we've got recording quantize, which I'm going to turn on for a live demo. I'm going to definitely have recording quantize on, thank you very much. So I've set that up to 1/16, which means that I'm going to be, whenever I record anything, it's going to automatically quantize it to quarter notes. Right, so that's the basic DAW integration that you get with, and obviously transport control you get with all of our DAW integration. Obviously the clips along the top is an Ableton feature, but that's across the board with all the DAWs that we support. But what we're going to look at now is where Aruba really excels with Live, which is controlling the drum rack. So I'm going to start by loading and going into samples. I'm going to start a loop with, let's just filter by loop, and then I'll go with this Osaka loop I've been working with recently. Slice it to a new MIDI track, and you'll see straight away that Aruba automatically updates to give me the slices on the rack. If I press the pad setup, here you've got the rack literally pulled out of Ableton and put onto the screen in front of you. I can move up and down the rack with the bank up and down buttons at the top here, and you'll notice that the slices are all looping at the moment. That's the default. That's what Live does when it slices it. That's okay in some cases. For me, I want to switch them to be simple one-shots. So if I press the plugin button, that lifts the macros on the drum rack onto the display here.
Right, got you.
And you can go in
with labels.
Yes, and you can. Yeah, really useful. And a handy tip for Live users is if you want to switch your slices to be one shot, you can just do them all by switching the loop length down. So now I've got my my one-shot samples, if you like. Another thing about slicing is you often end up with a lot of duff slices you're not going to use. So one of the handy features of Aruba is the pad coloring. So if I go back to pad setup, you select a pad color. I'm just going to work with these 4 for now. You can hold down a pad. You select a pad, and then you can turn the color and change the color with encoder 6. If you hold down the pads, you can actually add them as it's like a shortcut for coloring multiple pads, if you like. So where was I? Yes. So let's have a little bit of a closer look at the rest of the controls for the pads. You've got volume control. There's a lot to show, so I'm going to try and rush through this. Sorry. And pan.
So these are just all the kind of the controls that you would have
but
in the
it's
actual
all
drum.
working in the drum, and the drum rack's really, really powerful. I mean, it looks so simple on the surface, but we've really kind of brought it all out. Yeah, exactly. There's loads of parameters. One of the really useful ones is note transpose. Turn that up. Yeah, so you've got note transpose of your samples. Really quick and easy to work with. Obviously you've got colour, and then you've got choke group. If I set this, let's just say I wanted to set this on to choke group 3, and if I wanted this one to be on choke group 3, you can see that it highlights all of the pads that are inside that choke group, just as a visual representation of what's choking what, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of thought has gone into this, as you can probably see. So what do we do now? I guess we should do some recording, right?
Right, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to turn on the click track, and I'm going to hit record. And like I said, the auto clip trimming is going to just allow me to start whenever I feel like it. Okay, so now it's looping round. It's trimmed off the start and it's trimmed off the end because I was a little bit late with pressing record there. And it's automatically quantized it. What if I want to do something more with that quantized? Let's go into, turn that click track off. Let's go press the door button. You can see you've got clip edit here. And if I go in here, I've got a swing. Now, Ableton has its groove pool, which is an interesting way of working with and adding swing and movement. But an old school MPC style swing is always handy. If you set the quantized swing up, you can quantize everything to swing it. Let's just undo that because it's a little bit heavy.
That's quite swingy.
That's very swinging, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's just do that in the middle maybe. Let's just quantize instead. If you hold down the quantize button, you can just quantize individual pads.
Oh wow, okay. So interesting. You can do quite a lot. But this is all just accessing what's under the hood in Ableton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is all through the live integration. If you wanted to maybe delete some notes, you can hold Shift. Let's just undo that and get it back again. Yeah, so I mean, you can really, like, once you've done your recording, you can do a lot more to it as well. Another thing you can do, obviously the recording are up here with the clips. Here is the original loop with my modified note shifting. If you hold down Shift, press a clip button, you can duplicate it across the pads.
All right, so we're having again no mouse involved here at all.
Oh yeah, I haven't touched the mouse apart from obviously finding the initial loop. Yeah, I haven't touched the mouse at all. Okay, so and when you've got that, there's you can change the length, half it maybe.
So you can tweak all the parameters of each clip as well, and then in real time, and then just jump between them.
I should also show there's shortcuts along the transport mode. This is consistent across all our devices with Live. Same goes for the LX Mini. If you hold down the clip button, whether it be here on LX Mini or whether it be here on Aruba, your transport controls will handle will half or double the clip length, toggle clip record mode on, and quantize as well, and also clip stop.
Right. Neat. So that's some pretty deep integration.
Yes, very, very deep. But the other thing that you can do that I haven't actually looked at now is browsing. So that sounds okay, but maybe we want to add some effects, for example. So let's hit the browse, and I'm going to add a device. So by browsing by default, it's assuming that you want to go through the kits, okay, which is fine. So if you press plus device, then it turns off that hot swap. Otherwise, you're going to be just switching out the kit to a different device. Then you can use the arrows to navigate your browser.
Right.
Again,
Gotcha.
we're not using the mouse where it matters. So I'm going to go in and let's add a delay, like so. Let's add a clean one. And what's nice about having the browser one here is I can, let's just see what that sounds like. Sounds hot. But I can go back into the browser and maybe try a different one. I'm going to go back to the first one for now. And I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Exit the browser. And I'm going to go back to the plugin page, because although this controls the macros by default, if you hold down Shift, turn an encoder, I can just select whichever parameters, doesn't matter what device, anything in Live can be assigned. And then I can turn that down a little bit.
Okay, yeah, it's a bit more subtle, isn't it? So take the dry wet mix down.
That's better. And it works. We also enabled at the start automation auto record. So whenever I'm in clip record mode, I can record those automation features. There you go.
Right, gotcha.
Just turn that back off. So modifier for the transport controls, turn that off. The other way that the browser works, if I hit browser, hit a new track, I've got a drum rack straight away, and I can scroll down and add a beat to what I'm doing. Let's go down and select one of my favourite live presets, where's it gone? Deep Night Kit, there we go. It's nice that you get an audition as well when you're scrolling through. I'm going to select that. And again, straight away your rack loads up. You've got ability to control it. Oops, I've got the browser still open. So you've got your samples all loaded in your rack here. What I'm going to do is, well, that's really loud. Let's just turn that down a little bit. Sorry. There we go. So a lot of the factory content is set up for GM for GM layout. So the snare is the wrong way around. What you can do, if you go to Shift and Pad Setup, you've got Copy, Layer and Swap. I'm going to swap these around. So I've just swapped these two over. Let's turn this off. I'm going to because it uses a little bit more juice, if you like, when this is active. So always turn it off if you're going to record anything or do anything. Now, of course, in the first one we saw the repeat engine, and we talked about the fact that the repeat engine is MIDI based, which means it's going to be recording directly into your DAW. We're going to use that. We can use that now. Let's have a look at the repeat control. So we've got a 16-track peak recall, and I can use that. Anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah, neat.
So yeah, a lot you can do. It brings it brings out all of the really deep features of performance that you get with the repeat engines of Aruba. It ties it into Live. Super effective at creating beats. You're not just creating your 4-bar, your 2-bar beats. You're doing variations that you can select from the buttons above, which controls the selected tracks clips. We've just pretty much created a the start of a beat, on the fly in this random demo. So
nice one.
Yeah.
So this is all part of the setup as it comes. There's no kind of additional firmware. This is just, you download the latest firmware and you've got this, right?
Yeah, it's all available already for Aruba owners. Just log into your account at nektar.com and download the latest Aruba integration for Ableton Live. Of course, you need to have Suite or the ability to use Max. It's a Max plugin at the end of the day. But
Tim,
yeah, great.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you.